All right. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to Women Transforming Technology technical sessions. I'm really excited today to help moderate these sessions. My name is Jody Sheely. I'm a principal partner solution architect in the office of the CTO for the global field at VMware. And I'm very, very excited today to introduce my new friend, Samta Bansal. I'm very excited. She's a global consulting and marketing leader at Hitachi Vantara. She has deep global expertise in digital transformation, artificial intelligence, big data, and IoT. She is a published author. She has a fashion designer degree, and you do not want to mess with her because I heard she also has a red belt in Taekwondo. So I know that she's very passionate about women doing good work and women's growth. So with no further ado, Samta, can you let us know how our data can be used for good?
Thank you so much, Jody. And thank you everyone for joining us. I am super excited to be talking to you about, like Jody said, can your data be used for good? But before I go ahead, let me start with some personal background because I believe it'll give you the context of why I am so passionate about the representation and technology itself. So I come from a joint family where we were 9 sisters and 7 brothers growing up. And coming from a very orthodox family, for us, it meant girls got wed anytime after or as soon as, and sometimes before, they were even 16 years old. Education wasn't the utmost priority for girls at that time. So that meant do your high school and probably that's it. However, I was lucky that my mom and dad stood by me and made sure that I completed my engineering and my physics degree. Since then, kind of supporting the women to make their dreams a reality, helping them shine to their full potential, whether that meant mentoring them to leadership skills, mentoring actually high school girls to dream big, or a pep talk with one of my women colleague or a friend over dinner or lunch, whatever it takes, basically has always been my pursuit. Love for tech for me comes from my dad, as I worked alongside with him building my first in-house refrigeration system at the age of 14, and to many such DIYs throughout my life. In my day job, like Jody said, I'm responsible for driving marketing and strategy for the consulting business of Hitachi Vantara. So with that, let's get into the topic today. Hitachi Vantara is a data-driven technology arm of the global conglomerate Hitachi. And at Hitachi Vantara, we truly believe that the future belongs to the data-driven. And mind it, I did not say data rich, and that is very purposeful because today, many of us are data rich, but being data driven is clearly how we see the organizations win in the 21st century. Research by McKinsey has actually found that data-driven organizations are 23 times more likely to win customers, 6 times more likely to keep them, and 19 times more likely to be profitable. So you might be wondering why a storage company is talking about data and digital transformation to you. You're probably like me 3 years ago before I joined Hitachi. And only to learn that actually Hitachi Vantara has evolved and innovated themselves in the past 8 years to be those digital collaborators for our customers, expanding into software, digital solutions, and services consulting, working across industry, across the globe. However, that is not what really tipped me into joining Hitachi. What inspired me more was that my opportunity to create real impact for using that data for good, which is clearly the topic for today. And it is our mission at Hitachi Vantara to create technology that betters our society for a safer and an equitable future for our future generations. And our Hitachi's core value is about driving all 3 of the economic, social, and environmental values. And note, I did say and because it's truly an and equation and not an or. So digital is an opportunity for us to drive revenue, profitability, and social and environmental change with innovation and technology. We strive to create that social, environmental, and economic value by designing smart transportation systems that can help citizens commute better, delivering business intelligence to the retailers when you go shopping, utilizing cleaner energy sources to power cities around the world, or creating data and analytics platform for researchers to actually co-develop for new medicines. Really something that came to rescue during COVID time. And it was a really great feeling to know that there was this little thing from technology that we could help as well. And that is about delivering the innovation and with the digital technology and solutions to augment all the different sectors, whether it is manufacturing, mobility, energy, like healthcare, right? All of those. So let's get into the how of using the data to power good. So I would like to share a few examples of how we are using technology to power good. And one of those examples actually come from rainforest connection. So you might not think about saving the world's tropical rainforest to be a data challenge, but protecting the last remaining 2 million square miles of forest is actually precisely that. If you are a conversationist, it is incredibly difficult to identify when the next illegal logging is going to happen in a forested area, and an area as big as Australia. And that is the challenge that we are addressing with this nonprofit organization, Rainforest Connection.
The planet itself is changing. Climate change is not a future threat that's in front of us. Climate change is happening to us right now. It's accelerating, and it's going to be a big part of our future and the future of the living things on Earth. So for us to be able to study that in real time over long periods of measurement really matter, and sound is one of the best ways to do that. My name is Topher White, CEO of Rainforest Connection. Rainforest Connection is probably best known for acoustic monitoring. It's listening to all the sounds of the forest and their natural places, picking out the sounds of danger, like the sounds of chainsaws, logging trucks, gunshots, and then sending real-time alerts to people on the ground, like tribes, NGOs, and governments, so that it can actually show up and stop these destructive activities in real time.
So what you saw Topher install is what they called a solar powered device called Guardians, and that are installed in the rainforest canopy. They gather acoustic data that signals them when illegal logging is happening or about to happen. So just to give you an understanding of the impact, right, of just this, each of these Guardian installed in the middle of the rainforest is, first of all, able to record and transmit audio up to 3 square miles. And so that is about 1.5 kilometers in every direction. And this is equivalent to actually sequestering about 15,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year by protecting these very precious and vital forests. And that's basically equivalent to about 3,000 cars off the road. So a single Guardian device is equivalent to taking 3,000 cars off the road. So hopefully that gives you the scale of the impact with this project. And now let's talk about, the technology inside of this, right? The work that we are doing. Of course, this Guardian that you see up there, and excited to see actually Kazi to do that. She's also a woman, so it's great to see her actually doing this revolutionary work. We record this audio from the forest 24/7. And as Topher said, this allows us to pick up the sounds of any illegal activity. And here is a quick rendition. Basically how this device works is a chainsaw is picked up through one of these devices, is transmitted through the GSM network, analyzed in the cloud, and then alert is directly sent to our local partners where they can actually get on their motorcycles, stop the illegal loggers, right? So when these illegal logging activities are happening, and when these illegal loggers are usually bringing in their trucks, a lot of people come in, and that actually starts a change in the pattern of the noises, which may mean that some of the birds are either making a different noise, making too much noise, or in some cases, animals may start moving out, or there might be a complete silence. These are the kind of anomalies or the changes in patterns from that regular forest noise that we want to detect. Our mission is to apply the deep learning to these audio files so that we can predict the deforestation in advance and sometimes reduce the 14 days that it takes typically for the ranger to intervene. So by building this acoustic analytical solution on the cloud that identifies these anomalies is where the trick of the trade is. The AI-driven algorithms hear those changes in the sounds that animals are making when the loggers scout some potential sites. And by detecting these very first signs of disturbance, our algorithms are now giving rangers 5-day advanced notification of such activities with 96% of accuracy. And that's the magic.
Predict illegal activity before they occurs. So being able to use predictive analytics to warn of potential logging activity before it occurs actually allows us to save precious forests, precious hardwood, and eliminate some of these trophy loggings that a lot of illegal loggers do.
So it's just connecting people in the most remote places, what's happening in the cloud, which sounds difficult without connectivity. But Hitachi Vantara stepped in and actually gave us exactly the type of expertise we needed in 2 really critical areas.
So number one, being able to store and analyze big data and all this audio that's coming in from these devices and upload it to the cloud. And number 2, use machine learning and AI to be able to detect particular anomalies in that data. So using convolutional neural networks and machine learning to create a model that's able to detect disturbances and predict illegal activities before they occur.
So this is indeed a data problem. This is an analytics problem. And this is also an edge and a cloud problem, right? Again, technology. But then this is all about how do you use technology? How do you use the data in order to do something good? Do you think that the Wi-Fi is good in the rainforest? No, right? So we enable the analytical application to run on not only on the hyperscaler clouds, but also on the edge device, which is this Guardian that you saw, so that analysis of those acoustic signals can continue offline, ensuring that vital alerts are delivered promptly when the network would allow so. So this platform agnostic resource helps Rainforest Connection get most out of their data while minimizing concerns about network overhead or security. So with that, our Hitachi Vantara's deep insight into the cloud, data management, data intelligence, and analytics has built a backbone onto which this collaboration can grow to take previously unattainable actions against carbon emissions and destructive aspects of climate change for good.
That's not magic. It's actually about being able to listen to the sounds of the forest, and being able to see the way that a bird reacts to an insect, reacts to a mammal, reacts to a person with a gun. This allows us to understand the fabric and ecology itself that much better. That's the work that Hitachi has enabled through their studies now that they're committed to continuing with. You want to be able to listen to the sounds of nature and really understand the fabric and the beating heart of nature itself through the sound that animals make. And that's really the biggest sort of step forward for us, being able to listen to the sound of our living planet and extract everything that we can from what's there.
So now let me get into the other example, which is around optimized prime. And this is in the transportation sector. We all know that transportation sector is probably responsible for more than 20% of carbon dioxide emissions, and large amount of data, that amount comes from fleet transportation. So as the world looks down to cut down the carbon emission and resilience on fossil fuels, people are turning to cleaner electricity. And that's exactly where this particular example comes from.
By 2030, you will no longer be able to buy a new petrol or diesel car in the UK. We need to plan what the alternatives are. Optimised Prime is a really important programme that we're working on, bringing together the energy and transport sectors to plan for how our society can use electric vehicles at scale. It's the world's largest commercial fleet electric vehicle trial. It's a 3-year innovation program, and it involves a range of different companies, network operators, as well as 3 fleet operators, all running different types of fleet. All of these companies working together from different sectors towards a common objective. And what that means is when the fleets can move to electrification, there'll be less dependence on fossil fuels to drive our transport, improved environmental sustainability, and ultimately, better quality air for all of us to breathe.
And primarily, we are focusing on commercial fleets because they will be the largest adopters of these vehicles, Once we know that commercial fleets can move to electrification, we think consumers will be much more likely to follow. And then ultimately our dependence on fossil fuel will reduce. So the data platform that this works on is capturing and analyzing huge volume of information, as you can imagine, and data from across all of the partners that you heard about. So we are looking at information around energy demand, connection profiles, location of charging points, the journey that these vehicles are making, and how they need to be charged. And we are also combining that information around things like weather, which may have an impact on all of the planet.
Serving a population of about 20 million customers. We expect another quarter of the amount of electricity we deliver to be delivered for full electrification of transport. So the way we get ready is create the best possible forecast of what we expect to see, monitor and use data to confirm those electric vehicles are connecting. And the most important step is a smart toolbox to respond to these electric vehicles and the impact on the grid.
And it has allowed to get a view into the fleet manager's world and allow them to transition to an energy manager to perfectly quantify exactly how much power they need at different times of the day, which if you imagine is revolutionary. Ultimately, we know that the depot managers who need to manage these fleet of vehicles can make sure that these vehicles can do the journey they need to meet the customer needs that they have. So for me, Optimize Prime is really a purpose-driven project that paves the way to cost-effective strategies and minimize the impact of commercial EVs on the distribution network. And it is an amazing example of what can happen when you combine the power of technology with people's and human willingness to actually contribute to something bigger than just themselves, right? So again, pretty proud of this. This accelerated adoption of commercial EVs will save about 2.7 million tons of carbon dioxide, which is actually equivalent to full Boeing 747 traveling around the world 1,484 times. Just digest that, how much impact we are going to be able to make. So we have designed this IoT platform to manage all the data, but I think the power is not about that. What I wanted to make note of is it takes a village to create an impact like this that can create a meaningful impact towards society, environment, and for any good cause that this kind of projects do. So this is across industry collaboration and co-creation efforts. It includes a consortium, UK Power Network, Centricia, Royal Mail, Uber, and other regional electric providers. Again, this speaks to the power of ecosystem and the power that it really truly needs like-minded people to come together who value contributing and giving back to the society by bringing the technology and data together. So with that, I would like to end my presentation, but I hope that these examples have helped open your eyes on all the different fantastic ways the data and technology can be used for good to improve the world around us. And we are at Hitachi Vantara pretty proud to be contributing to improving our society and building a cleaner and healthier future for our future generations. With that, Jody, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, I think we're right at the end. So I'll grab that question and probably push it out. It looks like it came from the chat online in Huva. So I'll grab it. I want to make sure I get a chance to close. You gave us so much to, you opened with a fantastic presentation and you gave us so much to think about and leave with today. So with no further, I think we're right at the edge. With no further time, I just wanted to make sure that we gave the handover to Anadi so she can introduce our next speaker, and we'll follow up with any questions in the chat.